If you are over 60, the airport can wear you out before the trip even begins. The walking feels longer. The lines feel slower. Lifting a carry-on feels heavier. Boarding feels more rushed. And by the time you finally reach your seat, you are already tired, stressed, and wondering how flying became this hard. What makes it worse is this. A lot of seniors assume they just have to put up with it. They do not ask for help with bags. They do not ask for early boarding. They do not ask for airport assistance, better seating, extra comfort, or simple support that could make the trip much easier. Not because they do not need it, but because no one tells them those things may already be available for free. And that is where so many older travelers lose comfort energy and confidence without even realizing it. In this video, we are going through 13 free things seniors can ask for when flying in 2026. Practical support that can make the airport less exhausting, the flight more comfortable, and the entire journey easier on your body. Because after 60 flying is not just about getting there. It is about getting there without being drained before the trip even begins. Number 1. Wheelchair assistance, even if you do not normally use one. This may be the most helpful free service on the entire list. Many seniors assume wheelchair assistance is only for people who permanently use a wheelchair. It is not. If walking long distances through the airport feels exhausting, if standing in long lines drains your energy, or if a large terminal feels overwhelming, you may still be able to request this support. And it can help with much more than people expect. Wheelchair assistance may cover check-in security, long walks to the gate boarding connections, and even getting to baggage claim after landing. In a large airport that can save an enormous amount of energy and stress. The best time to request it is usually during booking or around 48 hours before the flight, so the airline can prepare in advance. This is not about weakness. It is about making the trip safer, easier, and more manageable on your body. For many older travelers, this one service can change the entire airport experience. Number 2. Free help between connecting flights. For many seniors, the hardest part of flying is not the flight itself. It is getting through a large airport in time for the next one. Long terminals, crowded walkways, distant gates, and tight connections can drain your energy fast. But what many older travelers do not realize is that airlines often offer free assistance between connecting flights. And this does not only mean a wheelchair. In many airports, it can include escort staff electric carts or airport vehicles that help passengers move from one gate to another. The best time to request this is usually about 48 hours before the trip or during booking. But even if you did not plan ahead, you can still ask at the airport. You do not have to wait until you are struggling. If walking long distances is difficult or a connection feels overwhelming, ask for help early. It can save your energy and lower the stress of the entire trip. Number 3. Lounge access. You may be able to get for free. Most economy passengers walk past airport lounges and assume they are only for business class. Sometimes that is not true. In certain situations, seniors may be able to get free lounge access or access at a reduced cost, especially through loyalty programs, travel credit cards, or occasional passes offered by airline staff when space is available. That means a quieter place to sit, cleaner restrooms, free snacks and drinks, and a much calmer wait before the next flight. For older travelers, that comfort can matter more than people realize. A long layover feels very different when you are resting somewhere quiet instead of searching for an empty seat in a noisy terminal. So if you have a long wait, it is worth asking, are there any lounge options available for me today? You may still hear no. But sometimes one simple question opens a door most travelers never think to try. Number 4. Priority boarding assistance. For many seniors, the most stressful part of flying is not the flight. It is the boarding process. The crowd at the gate, the pressure to move quickly, the rush to find overhead bin space, and the feeling that everyone behind you is waiting can make boarding exhausting before the plane even leaves the ground. That is why priority boarding assistance can help so much. Many airlines allow passengers who need extra time or extra support to board earlier. And this is not always limited to first class or wheelchair users. Older travelers who need a calmer, slower boarding process can often ask for it too. A simple request to the gate agent before boarding begins is usually enough. Would it be possible for me to board a little early? That extra time can make it easier to reach your seat. Settle in and start the flight with less stress. Sometimes what helps most is not more comfort in the air. It is less pressure before takeoff. Number 5. Free help with your carry-on bag. For many seniors, one of the most stressful moments of flying happens before the plane even takes off. It is lifting a carry-on into the overhead bin. That single movement can strain your shoulder, hurt your back, or throw off your balance in a crowded aisle. But many older travelers still try to do it alone because they do not want to hold up the line or ask for help. The truth is, airlines often provide free help with stowing carry-on bags. The best time to ask is as soon as you board, or even better, mention it to the gate agent before boarding starts. A simple request like, "Could I please get some help with my bag?" is usually enough. This is not about special treatment. It is about avoiding injury and saving your energy for the rest of the trip. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can carry onto a plane is not the bag. It is the willingness to ask for help. Number 6. Free seat upgrades when space opens up. A more comfortable seat is one of the few things almost every traveler wants, but very few expect to get for free. And while it is never guaranteed, it does happen. Sometimes, when better seats remain open, close to departure, airline staff may have the flexibility to move passengers. That does not mean you should demand an upgrade. But it does mean a polite request can occasionally work, especially if you ask respectfully. For older travelers, this can matter a lot. A little more space, a quieter row, or a better seat location can make a long flight much easier on your back, knees, and overall energy. The best approach is simple. Ask kindly at the gate. If any more comfortable seats open up, I'd be grateful to be considered. That is often better than directly asking for a free upgrade. You may still stay in your original seat, but sometimes one respectful question is enough to make the journey easier. Number 7. Seatbelt extensions at no cost. This is one of the most common requests on a plane, but many people still feel awkward asking for it. If the seatbelt feels too tight or does not fit comfortably, you can ask for a seatbelt extension, and it is typically provided free of charge. For older travelers, this matters more than people think. Comfort is part of it, but safety matters too. A seatbelt should fit properly without pressure, strain, or discomfort for the entire flight. The good news is that flight attendants handle this request all the time. To them, it is routine. The easiest way is to ask quietly while boarding or soon after sitting down. Could I please have a seatbelt extension? No explanation is needed. Sometimes flying becomes harder simply because people stay uncomfortable in silence. This is one of those small things that is easy to fix if you ask. Number 8. Complimentary amenity kits. One of the easiest free comforts to ask for on a long flight is an amenity kit. On many flights lasting around 6 hours or more, Airlines may have small kits with items like a toothbrush, toothpaste, lip balm, lotion, an eye mask, earplugs, and sometimes socks. But in economy class, these kits often are not handed out unless someone asks. That is why many older travelers never even know they are there. And while this may sound small, it can make a real difference. After hours in dry cabin air, being able to freshen up and feel a little more comfortable before landing can help you feel less drained. A simple question like, "Do you happen to have any amenity kits available?" is often enough. Just ask early in the flight because supplies are limited. Sometimes the first thing that makes flying easier is not a big upgrade. It is one small comfort most people forget to ask for. Number 9. Free headphones and entertainment devices. A long flight feels much longer when you have nothing to listen to and nothing to watch. Many passengers do not realize that airlines often carry basic headphones on board, and in some cases, they may also have tablet devices available for entertainment. But these items are not always offered automatically, especially in economy. That means some travelers sit through the flight assuming they have no options when help may be only one question away. For older travelers, this can matter more than it sounds. A movie music or even simple distraction can make hours in the air feel shorter and less tiring. A polite question like, "Do you have any headphones available?" is often enough. Just ask early because supplies are usually limited. Sometimes comfort on a flight is not only about legroom or a better seat. Sometimes it is simply having something that makes the time pass more easily. Number 10. Extra water and snacks on request. One of the easiest ways to feel worse on a flight is to get dehydrated. Cabin air is dry, and after a few hours, many older travelers start to feel tired, uncomfortable, or slightly weak without realizing that lack of water is part of the problem. The good news is that you are not limited to the one drink handed out during regular service. On many flights, you can ask for extra water and sometimes extra snacks as well. This can be especially helpful if you take medication, need to stay hydrated, or simply do not feel well between meal and drink service. A simple request like, "Could I please have another cup of water?" or "Do you have any extra snacks available?" is often enough. These are small things, but on a long travel day, small things can make a big difference. Number 11. Complimentary blankets and pillows. Cabin temperatures can change fast during a flight. What feels fine during boarding can turn cold an hour later, and for many seniors, that cold is not just uncomfortable. It can make it harder to relax, harder to rest, and harder to sit still without feeling stiff. That is why blankets and pillows can matter more than people think. On many flights, airlines still keep them on board. But in economy, they often are not handed out automatically. If you do not ask, you may never know they were available. A simple question like, "Do you have any blankets or pillows available?" is often enough. As with many free items on a plane, it is better to ask early before supplies run out. It may seem like a small comfort, but on a long flight, staying warm and supported can make the trip feel much easier on your body. Number 12. Medical help and oxygen arrangements. For some seniors, the biggest worry about flying is not comfort. It is what happens if a medical issue starts in the air. The important thing to know is that flight crews are trained to respond to common in-flight medical problems, and aircraft carry medical kits for emergencies. That does not mean airlines provide routine oxygen whenever a passenger wants it. In most cases, they do not. But many airlines do allow approved portable oxygen concentrators on board. That usually requires advance notice, often around 48 hours before the flight, so the airline can confirm everything is properly arranged. If you have a medical condition, need medication during the flight, or may need special support, It is always better to plan early and let the airline know before travel day. When it comes to flying after 60, peace of mind often starts before boarding. Number 13. Extra legroom seats that may be available for free. Tight seating becomes much harder after 60. When your knees are stiff, your back starts aching, or sitting too long makes your legs feel heavy, a cramped seat can turn an ordinary flight into an exhausting one. That is why this matters sometimes. If extra legroom seats are still open near departure, airline staff may be willing to move a passenger at no extra charge. It is never guaranteed. But it is worth asking, especially if comfort or mobility is a real issue. The best time is usually at the gate before boarding. A simple request, like, if there are any seats with extra legroom available, I'd be very grateful to be considered, can sometimes make a difference. Even if you do not get a premium seat, you may still be moved to a more comfortable spot. Sometimes a little extra space is all it takes to make the flight feel manageable again. So, here is the truth. Many older travelers learn too late. Flying becomes much harder when you do not know what help you can ask for. A little support with a bag. A better seat if one opens up. Early boarding. Help between gates. Extra water. A blanket. A special meal. Wheelchair assistance. None of these things sound dramatic on their own, but together they can protect your energy, reduce stress, and make the entire trip feel far more manageable. And after 60, that matters. Because a good flight is not just about getting from one place to another. It is about arriving without feeling worn out before the real trip even begins. The good news is that many of these services may already be available. The problem is most people never think to ask. And sometimes that one question is what changes the whole journey.